I'm Leela Kumar. I work as a security services consultant in CA Technologies. My specialization is around CA ControlMinder. CA ControlMinder offers fine-grained access controls when protecting a specific file or a specific directory. These fine-grained access controls are extensive enough to prevent any vulnerability that could possibly happen on this file or directory. To list out the kind of controls that CA ControlMinder offers here, it prevents read, write, execute, modify, change ownership, copy. These are the access controls that ControlMinder can give over a file or a directory. The added advantage that CA ControlMinder exclusively offers in terms of file or directory protection are multifolded. To list out a few of them, one, it allows to use your corporate directory structure to enforce access control mechanisms. Let's consider an example here. You would want your system administrators to access your operating system drive. You would want your application administrators to access your application system drive. Now, these categorizations of system administrators and application administrators are retained in your organizational structure. If you have to implement this with a native control that a Unix or a Windows system traditionally offers you, you will have to explicitly define them on the local machine. But CA ControlMinder Host Access Control offers you the capability of defining them centrally through a CLang policy. One more advantage that we have here is you could also get an audit trail generated from the access that happens over a file or a directory structure. It not just captures the audit trail, but gives you a centralized interface for displaying the audit reports to the security administrator. The other added advantage is that you could define one single common policy and use it across a variety of operating systems by using the concept of AC variables, an inherent mechanism that CLang provides you to define global variables. These are, in short, a high-level view of the advantages that CA ControlMinder offers over the native controls with respect to file and directory protection. Let's understand this fine-grained access control over a file and directory with help of a real-time use case. Forward Inc. Corporation is a fictional organization, and it has multiple applications that are front-ended by the web servers. So there are a combination of web servers that are being used by Forward Inc. Corporation, and you have different groups of web server administrators residing in your organization who actually maintain these web applications day in and day out. Now, the objective is to make sure that only the administrators of these web applications have access to these specific folder structures where all the jar files and the respective code artifacts are residing. If we have to implement this using the native systems, we will have to define an explicit access control rule over each of these machines, and every time a minor variable or a minor factor changes, we will have to redo that manually. Now, CA ControlMinder offers an added advantage here by helping you to define a central policy, define them with using CLang command line language, and deploy them with a single click from the enterprise management interface. And it also gives you the audit trail of which user accessed what folder at what point of time. This would be helpful in terms of analysis when there is an issue that has occurred on the web server side.
Now that you have understood how CA ControlMinder uses fine-grained access control to protect directories, let's look at a practical example. In this example, we will create a new directory on the endpoint and place a file inside the directory. We will then create and deploy a CLang script to ensure that only the relevant group can access the directory. Finally, we will verify the working of the script. Log into the endpoint as an administrator and create a new directory. Place the sample file that needs to be protected in the protected directory folder. Step 1 is now complete. Let us now see how to create and deploy a slang policy. To create a slang policy, we have to log into the Enterprise Management. To continue, click the Policy Management tab. Now click the policy link. In the left pane, click the policy again. Since we need to create a policy, click the Create Policy link. Now click the OK button. We have specified the name and the description of the policy in the General tab. To define the policy, click the Policy Script tab. We will now write the slang script to protect the directory and ensuring that only the relevant group can access it. In the first line of the script, we have created a new resource of type file with path given in it. We need to do this because all ControlMinder rules get implemented at an endpoint by using resources. In the second line of the script, we have added attributes to resources. By default, CA ControlMinder writes an audit only when an event fails. In the third line of the script, we are authorizing the relevant enterprise group to access the protected directory folder. In the final line of the script, we are editing the resource to ensure that default access is not given to anybody. In the undeploy script, we have added a command to remove the file resource. Let's now click the Submit button to submit the policy, and then click the OK button. To assign the policy to the endpoint, click the Assignment link. Now click the Assign Policy link. Select the policy you want to deploy and click the Next button. Now assign the policy to the relevant endpoint and click the Next button, and then the Finish button. Now let's access the Protected Resources folder on the endpoint. Let's log into the endpoint as administrator. The sample file is located on the C drive. Double-click the Protected Directory folder to open it. You will get an error message because the administrator does not have privileges to access this folder. To close the error message window, click the OK button. Let's now log into the endpoint management as TestUser02. TestUser02 is a member of the relevant user group and can access the protected directory. Double-click the protected directory folder to open it. You can now access the directory. You now understand how to protect a directory by using slang scripting provided by CA ControlMinder.